Hello, I'm Deanna Cooney. Welcome to another episode of Undercurrent. To mark the end of National Child Protection Week, WTV reporter James Rogers brings you this special report into child sexual abuse and the prevention of it within your community.
The Royal Commission has revealed a shocking history of child sexual abuse in Australian institutions. But what are we doing to prevent abuse in the wider community?
The very nature of child abuse means that those who commit these crimes are likely to gravitate to a wide range of organisations, which the Catholic Church is but one of many. Child protection is everyone's business, everyone's. We all can and must play a part in protecting and safeguarding all children, wherever they may be.
In 2016, I looked at what the Catholic Church in Perth is doing to prevent child sexual abuse.
The Safeguarding Project has been implemented in order to create safer churches or create the church as a child-safe organisation. That's our aim. Our aim is to transport the church into a safe organisation.
One of the very clear recommendations from the outcome of the current Royal Commission has been around prevention and ensuring that children have access to prevention education, and that's what WA Child Safety Services offers.
Now I focus on what WA Child Safety Services is doing to prevent abuse in the wider community in line with Recommendation 6.2 from the final report of the Royal Commission, which the state government has accepted in principle.
We provide prevention education through the Protective Behaviours Program, right from very young children in childcare services through to primary schools, through to our Teen Talk program in high school settings. Prevention absolutely is critical to providing children with skills and strategies around child abuse prevention.
The Protective Behaviours Program provides information to parents and children in a variety of areas.
We're providing parents with information around child sexual abuse, around the statistics and the prevalence of it. Unfortunately, it's way more prevalent than most people would know or would want to think about. We're looking at about 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 7 boys experience some form of sexual abuse before the age of 18.
According to Justine, it starts with teaching children the correct anatomical names for the private parts of the body.
We encourage that parents use that terminology and that they teach their children that terminology to take away that level of shame and embarrassment, because if children feel shame and embarrassment around those private parts of their body, and if something was to happen, either they had a question about the private parts of their body, they were hurting on the private parts of the body, or someone touched them inappropriately on the private parts of the body, if there's that level of shame and embarrassment, they may not actually go and speak to somebody about it. So that's really the first step. We also talk about that other people may miss the cues. So if a child was to talk about someone's putting their car into my garage, if that was the terminology they use for the private parts of the body, it may be missed by somebody who's not familiar with that particular terminology.
There have been cases where children as young as 10 have committed offences and infants who have been victims, highlighting the importance of teaching appropriate behaviours from an early age.
Protective behaviours is developmentally and age appropriate, so we'll increase the level of information that we're providing to children at age and developmental stages that are correct for them. So consent in the early years is looking at someone hugging or kissing someone that may not want that we need to make sure that we're getting permission before we do that. And that moves right through the age groups, and thinking about things like consent of posting photographs online and social media when we're talking with our older teenagers.
Sex offenders try to keep their abuse secret with bribes or threats to continue offending. Protective Behaviours teaches children the difference between a safe secret and an unsafe secret.
So someone has to have the desire to commit these offences against children. Now, whilst there are a number of motivators, what we do know is one of the primary motivators is a sexual attraction to children. They then have to have an ability to commit the offence. So they need to know how to do it. And not only how to do it, but how to get away with it. And getting away with it allows them to continue to commit the offences.
So safe secret, for example, would be buying a birthday present for mum, and on Sunday we're going to give that to her. Between Thursday night and Sunday, we're not going to show mum the present, even though children might want to. They're going to keep that till Sunday, but dad knows about the present because he took them to the shops, and grandma knows because they helped them wrap them up when when they got home. So that's a short time, happy outcome. Other people know it's just a surprise from mum. An unsafe secret is when someone tells you that you can't tell. They might threaten you that something bad will happen if you tell. They might say that you have to keep this secret forever. Those types of secrets, we want children to know that they can tell someone. So that's another big component of the Protective Behaviours program.
So a number of these perpetrators have learnt the behaviour. A number of the perpetrators who weren't victims will seek out that information or consort with other sex offenders and learn how to commit those offences, because it's not as black and white as it would seem. There's a whole process to child sexual abuse, and it's called grooming, or another word is entrapment, and that's a whole process in itself. Our
statistics would tell us anywhere between 90 to 95% of the time when a child is harmed, they're harmed by somebody that they already know. That breakdown is roughly around 30% of the time it's a family member, around 60% of the time it's somebody within the broader community, and 10% of the time it may be someone that they don't know. So if the only message we give children is stranger danger, don't speak to strangers, we actually are not giving them the message that they need.
Statistics show that most sexual abuse happens within the family unit, making it difficult for a child to seek help when they need to.
We use often the hand analogy, where children will draw around their hand. On the thumb, they'll write the names of the people perhaps in their family that they feel have those network qualities, would listen, believe and help them. And on their forefingers, they'll write names of people outside of their family. So they might include a teacher or a sports coach or a neighbour or one of their parents, one of their friends' parents. And it's really important that they know how to get in contact with those people. So whether it's by going to see them because they see them at school, or being able to ring them or to message them. Because children need to know that there will be adults in their lives that will listen to them, believe them and help them to feel safe again. Many children who have experienced abuse historically have thought that adults won't listen to them, because that's often the message that perpetrators have given them. This is our secret, no one will believe you anyway.
And collectively those two ingredients make up 20% of the recipe, but 80% of the recipe comes down to opportunity. And unfortunately, anywhere where children are, there is opportunity.
Keeping our children safe is everybody's responsibility. Parents, community members working together, giving the same message, teachers, schools and childcare centres giving the same message. Together we can empower ourselves, we can empower our children, and we can create safer communities.
If you require support, contact one of the following services. James Rogers for Undercurrent.
Africa Down Under, an event held recently in Perth, brings together dignitaries, ministers, ambassadors and investors from both Australia and Africa to deepen the ties between the two continents further. Tony ETC was there and he brings you this report.
Hello everybody. We are here in Perth, Western Australia at the Africa Down Under Mining Conference. We've got 90 businesses here and lots of investors. We've got 13 ministers from Africa and we've got lots of dignitaries. And let's have a listen to what the people has to say.
This year we've had about 1,400 registrations, which is fantastic, up 40% on last year, which I think reflects the upswing in the market. And of that, then there'll be investors, shareholders who've come as well. And we've really created, I hope, a forum, a meeting place, a true manja for people to come together and meet and talk about Africa.
We think that the investors in Australia will be able to see opportunities. It's a long-haul industry. You take time, you invest, many things over and over. You adapt, you adjust, you move forward. Mining will be here for a long time, and I hope professionals who are in the industry will participate, because their ideas will change the industry.
And we want back home to be able to do some of the things that have been done here as a government, and to able to consolidate on some of the achievements we've made so far, to tell people at home that Nigeria is on the lips of most investors.
The government is looking at establishing a factory in every district in the country. So we look at the areas that mines are operating, look at the products that we can produce for these mining companies and support local industries to produce these products for the mining industry.
The image that people actually think of Somalia is actually the image of starvation, death and civil war and piracy. We would like to wipe that image out and replace it with a very progressive country so that we can invite investors to come to our country.
We as diplomat, as ambassador, as a representative of the government of Cote d'Ivoire, we just want to tell the mining companies to come to Cote d'Ivoire because we have the best mining code.
We provide voluntary medical services, specialists, doctors and nurses, and we visit 4 East African countries to help out to improve their healthcare and health facilities. We've been doing this since 2005, and we visit Madagascar, Ethiopia, Somaliland and the Comoros. And the way things are heading, I'm hoping that next year we'll start another program in a new country, namely Eritrea.
As Uganda, we have a lot of minerals. You name it, we have it. But our industry is still very young, so we are nurturing it, and we are here to look for partners, interested parties who can help us with the technology, and together we get those minerals out of the ground.
We've explored, discovered and acquired 9 gold mines over the more than 25 years of operation, and we've been proudly operating in Africa for more than 20 years. Africa Down Under Conference, which is really celebrating the engagement of Australian mining companies and energy companies operating in the African continent.
Pretty much everything in Niger. You know, we have gold, we have copper, we have limestone, we have precious metals, uranium of course, and we have all kind of minerals that they're looking for. Whatever they're looking for, they may find it in Niger.
Guinea has the largest reserves of bauxites in the world, and also we have the largest reserves of untapped iron ore in the world, and we have a lot of minerals such as gold, diamonds, graphite.
A special message, especially for the GRC citizens in Australia, to acquire the experience, to study, to get experience or in mining in Australia and bring them back to home, because this is what we want. We need to do some transfer for technology.
Good to know that among the top investors in Kenya in mining is actually from Australia.
We have more than 30 minerals covering all over the country, more than 2 million square meters, 1.6 artisanal mining on gold. So Sudan is a very rich country with gold and other minerals.
Zimbabwe is endowed with diversified minerals. We are amongst the top African countries when it comes to resource endowment. And in terms of policies, a lot has happened in the past 6 months.
Ethiopia has got huge potentials of gold, potash, natural gas, and tantalum. Ethiopia is a land of origins where human beings walked on first. So we welcome all investors, tourists, and intellectuals of Ethiopians to contribute to the well-being of the country, Ethiopia.
I hope you all have enjoyed this event, and I am Tony ETC for Undercurrent.
The Oriental Charm is an international celebration of women, commerce, culture and tourism. The event will be held in November at Crown Perth, and Stephanie Acevedo attended the launch. She spoke to the organisers and brings you this story.
I'm here at the launch of the World Oriental Charm event, which recognises international elite women who are recognised for their contribution to commerce and community.
The 2018 World Oriental Charm is an event, an international event, which we hold in Hong Kong and in China. We are holding it locally in Western Australia so that we can promote tourism between Australia and that part of the world. We are very grateful for the support by the Chinese communities, from the local communities, and from the local businesses who seems to enjoy what we're doing and giving us their support, as you can see from their presence tonight.
How did the World Oriental Charm event become to be?
这个世界东风魅力品牌呢。
2017, they did some kind of opening in Hong Kong, and a lot of media companies, huge companies all over the world came there, and it was a huge success. So they decided to turn it into a brand.
So what advice will you give to the girls who would like to compete and the girls who are competing?
你对那些想来就是参加这个比赛获奖的女孩有什么提议？有什么建议？你建议她们今后如何做？
哦，我建议他们好像上一次，每一届我们颁奖以后。
So they are really interested in community work, like voluntary work. They did a lot of things in that area. It's not just how you earn money or benefit yourself, it's also about benefit the whole community. So she would advise the girls to do more things for others, not, like more voluntary work, help others.
What has been the best part of this event so far?
Alright, the best part is to discover our internal beauty, to understand we never discovered of ourselves. So we never know the other part of ourselves. So through these classes, training, and the best part is discover ourselves. Yeah.
This is a multicultural event. We are showcasing a platform where we're getting the Chinese community to showcase the empowerment of women. And I'm glad to be here because I'm from Indian heritage. And as a Member of Parliament and as a proud West Australian, it is such an important thing for me to recognise, appreciate and support this event. And hopefully this event gets bigger and better. But what a marvellous occasion, what a press conference. I look forward to the event in November.
My name's Stephanie Acevedo, reporting for Undercurrent.
Stay tuned, we'll be back right after the break with more Perth stories.